I will never change, even if they start to hate on my name. Stay true to yourself and never ride another wave. They say that I ain't been acting the same. I wasn't happy, won't go back again. Moving to shake until they know the name. Can't handle the boy because they sound the same, yeah. I came to save you from all of the fakers. Wanna know about me, then call all of my haters. They'll tell you that the boy ain't really worth it. In the stew every week with the same purpose. The boy been hot in a lit furnace. I feel like I deserve. We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm not the one, but you've been sounding crazy. We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm not the one, but you've been sounding crazy.
Believe that can fly, that's Kelly. Grew up on West, ain't nothing you can tell me. Knew they would ride with me once they knew my M.O. Better hold on, whoa Nelly. I must say what I need to say, Mayor. Watch how I built it out, I'm the conveyor. At these shows and I rap and I know they gon' clap. Yeah, they put their hands together, no prayer. I ain't worried about you, I'm just worried about me. What I know is what I'll be. And y'all was heartless, got you out of my system to make good music. No ID. You will never bring me down, never break my stride. I'ma make it out by rapping how I feel inside, yeah.
We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm not the one, but you've been sounding crazy. We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm not the one, but you've been sounding crazy. You know I always stand tall. They gon' wanna see me fall. Sounding crazy. We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm not the one, but you've been sounding crazy. Sounding crazy. I will never change, even if they start to hate on my name. Stay true to yourself and never ride another wave. They say that I ain't been acting the same. I wasn't happy, won't go back again. Moving to shake until they know the name. Can't handle the boy because they sound the same, yeah. I came to save you from all of the fakers. Wanna know about me, then call all of my haters. They'll tell you that the boy ain't really worth it. In the stew every week with the same purpose. The boy been hot in a lit furnace. I feel like I deserve. We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm not the one, but you've been sounding crazy. We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm not the one, but you've been sounding crazy.
Believe that can fly, that's Kelly. Grew up on West, ain't nothing you can tell me. Knew they would ride with me once they knew my M.O. Better hold on, whoa Nelly. I must say what I need to say, Mayor. Watch how I built it out, I'm the conveyor. At these shows and I rap and I know they gon' clap. Yeah, they put their hands together, no prayer. I ain't worried about you, I'm just worried about me. What I know is what I'll be. And y'all was heartless, got you out of my system to make good music. No ID. You will never bring me down, never break my stride. I'ma make it out by rapping how I feel inside, yeah.
We will never change, yeah. Always moving major. Saying that I'm
What's going on, MBL Network? We are live right now here on youtube.com/Madden Bomber League. This is the 49th episode of the Commissioner Corner podcast. I am joined alongside my co-host tonight, the Commissioner Corner podcast co-host, my co-commissioner, aka Mr. Vodcourse. Hey, Brimley, what's going on?
Vodcourse for everybody.
What are Vodcourse?
Hey, we're definitely. Okay, so a Vodcourse.
You got 10 seconds, bro. So it's gonna.
Vodcourse is whenever you have a beer bong, you place 1 Coors beer in it and 2 shots of vodka. That's a Vodcourse. We're gonna have this for our 50th episode next.
50th episode. Lip's gonna be doing Vodcourse on the air. And I guess that should get interesting. We're going to start this show off with a bang. Bleacher Report update, MBL news, how we always do it, how we always are rocking and rolling right when we get into the show. Appreciate everybody stopping by. 16 viewers right now watching the Commissioner Corner podcast. Guys, don't forget, we got a big-time MBL Live game coming up here tomorrow night. I think it's at 9 Actually, I know exactly when it is. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Washington Redskins taking on the New Orleans Saints. Going to be a great divisional matchup. Excuse me, Panthers versus Bucks divisional matchup.
That's a heck of a
division. Then you got the Redskins versus the Saints. Yeah, an NFC conference game between two teams that hopefully look to be playoff bound. Any thoughts on that game tomorrow? It's MBL Live, broadcast number 256.
Well, I think that this is the Panthers playing in a big divisional game, right?
Yeah, big divisional game, so that means
against,
a big-time collapse here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers, who are collapsing themselves right around 500 after...
They're on a roll right now. They're on a tear. You don't buy it?
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. We knew that this is where they'd be. This is where they're at. I don't buy that there's a little hot streak. I think they just got into a spot where they had some winnable games, and I mean they should be better than that. They shouldn't be around 500, but that's you're gonna get to see them play, and there's a lot of pressure on the Panthers because they are doing so well.
Panthers,
so we'll get to watch all of it.
Panthers are 6-2, the Buccaneers are 4-4, and then the New Orleans Saints are 5-3. And building the franchise Washington Redskins, which we also have some information on them. If you haven't caught their new episode of Building the Franchise, you need to go check it out. I mean, this is what we're here for, to promote these kind of things. But Building the Franchise Washington Redskins, episode 3 was last week. We have another episode coming up this week. So they're going to be on MBL Live tomorrow night, broadcast number 256, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv /MBL Network. And it's time to get into the show right now. Let's get right over to what we want to talk about, which is the Bleacher Report. But before we actually get there, we're going to go ahead and play this top 5 video. It's a highlight play. So let me pause the music over here. Let me bring this back. Let me bring this back over here. And we're going to play this top 5 OSU Unisolated. Why do I always get those names confused? Unisolated creates these. We really need to check them out. They're actually pretty good. I think Timbo's #1 here. So we're going to go ahead and hit play. All right, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, not Aaron Rodgers. Matt Stafford with a bad pass to the left side. He catches it, though. All right, post on the left side. Brandon Cooks. Oh, spinning and winning. Okay. All right, that's nice. And these aren't even the top plays. These are just honorable mentions, I think. Dangerous pass by Train there. Gets batted down. NBL Bleacher Report presents the top 5, created by Unisolated. Sponsored by the Bleacher Report. Dropping back Tennessee Titans always seem to make this list somehow. Must be because he's making the video. High pass right there to the left side wasn't impressive. All right, that's a dud. All right, number 4, Dallas Cowboys. Oh, spin move. Hey, if I see any kind of move on a kick return, just a spin move, something, Lip, I give you credit for it. But if you're just strolling down the park, oh, Detroit Lions, this must be good. This must be a game winner right here. Oh, that's a little move right there. Corey Coleman to the house. Hand out to the left side. Holding Darkwa, juking off his man, trucking his man off to the house. All right, let's see what #1 is. Actually, Timbo has a really nice #1 play here. Here we go. Oh, spin move. Juke move. Running. That's nice. Former first-round pick right there, number 21. Not getting much playing time behind Le'Veon Bell we saw last night. All right, well, let's get the music back on. That was a top 5. Lip, did you have a chance to check out the top 5 yet? Or are you watching it for the first time now?
No, I got to check it out. And no, I want to know, the biggest question that I need answered is how you are heading towards the right, slightly to the right side of the field, and then you hit a spin move on the whole opposite direction, and then everything just parts at the exact perfect moment.
I don't kick return.
Yeah,
I haven't got a kick return, man.
I just don't understand because it's just it was perfect timing perfect coordination by about 8 dudes on that one play.
Yeah, did the guy running with the ball know that? Probably not, but
not at all.
But that's how it worked out. I haven't returned a kick yet. I'm kind of jealous at this point for those that continuously do it. I believe I counted over 20 that we have already this year, and we're at week 10. All right, let's get right into the Bleacher Report. We're starting here. It's going to be Lip. You're wondering where we start. December 4th. We're starting with Minnesota Dalvin Cook. Minnesota has ended negotiations with Dalvin Cook for now, according to a team source. There is still some potential to use the franchise tag, but the front office is reportedly very wary. Who wrote this about pursuing that road? Very concerned. They're just not sure yet. Due to the lack of funds that you get in Minnesota, the franchise tag might be a little costly for Dalvin Cook. Is he franchise tag worthy or not, Lip?
Man, that's passing ownership. That's a passing team. Once they get the quarterbacks figured out, they've got 2 really good ones, and they don't like either of them, which does not surprise me. So I don't see a whole lot of money going Cook's way because he's not that valuable in that offense.
All right, so Lip say no. Let him hit free agency. Dalvin Cook, young, a lot of potential. Skull. All right, moving forward. What do we got here? Green Bay moved on from Aaron Rodgers this past offseason. We know it. We're in MBL Season 35. You want to join the MBL? The link is not in the chat right now, but there is a URL that's rolling around, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, 365.maddenbomberleague.com. Green Bay has moved on from Aaron Rodgers this past offseason and brought in Matthew Stafford from their rival Detroit Lions. Through 7 games, he has completed just 7% of his passes, thrown 6 touchdowns to 20 interceptions. Concern for Matt Stafford, is he going to be a Packer next year? There's no way, right?
Yeah, it's tough because I remember talking with Player that they were going to go quarterback if they didn't get Stafford in free agency. So they might, I don't know, Player's pretty cutthroat. He might just do one and done with Stafford.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's got a high pick.
99.999% at this point of the year, the way that defense is playing, the targets that they have deep down the field, if this quarterback is playing this bad, he's going to look at the quarterback and think, okay, if I could just improve in this area and get a more accurate quarterback or someone with a higher ceiling, a younger quarterback I can grow with, might give me the potential to win some of these games. I mean, there's a lot of weapons in Green Bay right now. You got Valdez-Scantling. You got the #1 pick, Derek Patterson. We're going to talk about him later. And Matt Stafford just isn't getting it done right now. I would expect him to be in a free agency. After Week 8, Redskins linebacker Zach Brown is playing at a very high level as he leads the league in tackles with 46. Brown is also the only linebacker to have double-digit tackles for loss, as well as 4.5 sacks and 5 interceptions. Okay, AA. That's quite the stat right there. I never like when people combine stats and say
they stretch them.
Yeah, it's like they do like some very weird like okay. So is there another guy with double-digit tackle for losses, but he has 4 sacks?
This guy's 4-0 whenever it's a Sunday at 7 o'clock and there's 14 players on the sideline on the left side and there's 6 linebackers here. There's a whole bunch of different combinations that you could throw in to make any player seem like they're playing good or bad. So the 4.5 is what stands out to me and is what probably stood out to you as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 4.5 and I'm just thinking, okay, is there someone with 4 that we needed to make that half?
It's not all bad though. Zach Brown's a good player.
It's a good player with good stats.
Crucial part of that defense. So it's we're just poking fun, but I mean he is definitely a crucial part to that defense. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and for future, how I would like it to be written, which isn't my show over there, but I would say Zach Brown's playing at a high level. He has this many tackle for losses, this many sacks, and 5 interceptions. Still very impressive season for Zach Brown as he's on the Building a Franchise Washington Redskins. Make sure you check it out. I got it on the screen every Sunday night, usually Sunday, sometimes Saturday on this channel, youtube.com/MaddenBomberleague. All right, moving up. Under the radar trade this preseason, Jaguars traded a 3rd-round pick to San Francisco for tight end George Kittle. Kittle is the 2nd in the league in receptions, 45, and leads the Jaguars in touchdowns with 6. He is not claimed in our MBL Fantasy Football League. It is a
shame.
It is a PPR league, so when you know Lips targeted him with those 3-yard passes 6 times a game, dude, you at least know you're going to come away with 3 points. I mean, what is George Kittle averaging yards per catch minus rack? I looked it up. It was somewhere like 6, Lips, so I'm thinking.
Oh, now the last time you told this story, it was 10, and then since then it was 8, and now it's 6.
What would be a story if I told this same story multiple times with the same number? That would be pretty boring.
Yeah,
gotta spice it up every time.
There you go, stretching.
Wait till episode number 50. This guy's gonna be catching passes and losing a yard every time. Now, Kittle has had a great year unclaimed. I'll tell you what, if Lip's going to target his tight end like this, definitely worth a selection in fantasy, probably a 2nd-round fantasy pick right now. I mean, he's getting touchdowns, he's getting catches. That's what you want in fantasy. Right now, there's a lot of guys not doing that. I'll get to the chat in just a second, guys. We're going to catch up on all this Bleacher Report. 23 viewers right now watching. Here, episode number 49, Commissioner Corner Podcast. Saints are reporting halfback Alvin Kamara will miss 45 weeks with a ruptured disc in his back. Reports have also surfaced that the team may not re-sign him in the offseason. If the backup halfback performs in his absence, stay tuned for updates. Oh, okay. Alvin Kamara might be out in New Orleans. Thoughts?
I mean, if they're having success right now, and if he's going to be out for a couple more weeks and they continue to have success, that definitely opens the door to say he's not quite as valuable as you would think. It's a big name. So he might just walk because they're going to be able to, if they are able.
Screen for you so you can see it right now because it is 5 touchdowns. That's very concerning.
Yeah, that might seem like a good story there where both parties could mutually split, walk away. Kamara go somewhere where he can get in the end zone a little bit more. But, I mean, he's getting the carries, so it's just not inside the red zone, inside the 5-yard line. But like I said, the Saints don't need him. They're gonna let him walk, and they're not gonna worry about it if they win over this next couple weeks without him.
If you are watching this episode right now live, go ahead and hit that like button, hit those thumbs up. If you're watching it later in the day, also hit that thumbs up as well. We appreciate that. Right now we got 3 with 24 viewers watching. Go ahead and help us out. Hit that thumbs up button for us. All right, moving on. Bleacher Report, December 4th. We're still in December 4th. We're doing 48 hours back from where we start our podcast every time that we do it. This is a bi-weekly podcast. Next episode is going to be episode number 50, so we'll cook up something special for y'all. We also have a couple new ideas on some new segments we're going to be debuting here in the next coming episodes as well. Bleacher Report injury update for Week 9. Browns tight end David Njoku out 6 weeks with an abdominal tear. Browns wide receiver Cortland Sutton out 6 weeks with a dislocated hip. Cards strong safety Buda Baker out 5 weeks. That's a big-time player for the Cards. They've been hit with a lot of injuries. They also lost Deion Buchanan.
Yes.
He's out with a dislocated ankle. Cards left tackle Laramie Tunsil out 7 weeks with dislocated hip. 3 big injuries. For the Arizona Cardinals, they're in trouble, man. They're in trouble. They're not going to win. The Seahawks is going to take the division this year. 100%.
Yeah, I thought the Cards were going to be able to make a push, but now looking at these injuries, it's just one after another, and they're long injuries. They got 7 weeks, 5 weeks, 7 weeks. That's going to stack up, and that's going to be tough to overcome there with the division that right now it's close, but the Seahawks are going to be able to widen that gap pretty easily with these injuries.
All right, Timbo with his Witness Greatness shirt, retweeted on the Bleacher Report. Very nice shirt, guys. Go check it out, 365.maddenbomberleague.com. Go to the merch tab. Morning drop. All right, now we're into December 5th. Vikings center Pat Eflin agrees to a 4-year, $21.6 million extension. Colts tight end A.J. Derby out 8 weeks with a dislocated hip. And Tampa is back to 500 on a 4-game winning streak after a 21-3 victory over the Denver Broncos. Lip, you're not buying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go ahead and expand on the reasoning why for that.
Well, I mean, they were deep into the NFC playoffs last year, and then I believe they made a change at quarterback, and now they're in this, is it 5-4? On the season. It's just too close to 500 for a team that I definitely thought we could walk away with the division fairly easy this year, based on their success from last year. But the Panthers are surprising. We're going to get to see them tomorrow, so this is going to be a huge game. This might be the season. I'll go out and say right now, this is the season for the Bucs against the Panthers, because the Panthers have a little bit of a lead.
Yeah.
And
that's a way to make it up.
Tampa's got to be a better team than this. They are roster-wise. They've just got to start playing together.
We also got a blog that just got dropped from Timbo about DJ Moore. We're going to go ahead and read that, a little story time here in our Bleacher Report update, MBL News segment of the Commissioner Corner podcast. Bleacher Report injury update for Week 10. Ravens D-tackle Brandon Williams will miss 4 to 5 weeks with a right shoulder tear. Steelers middle linebacker Joe Schobert will miss 2 months with a broken left collarbone, and Eagles star cornerback Ronald Darby will be out 3 to 4 weeks with a right shoulder tear. So some big injuries happening this week. We're getting a lot of Grid Weekly retweets on here. The morning drop for December 6th. Chiefs signed Sammy Watkins to a new 4-year deal, $48 million. That's a good signing for them. Philly signs Derek Barnett to a 3-year extension. And Lions wide receiver Nelson Aguilar will miss the remainder of the MBL Season 35 regular season. They do believe in, and they hope he will return for the playoffs. Thoughts on the Chiefs signing wide receiver Sammy Watkins to a 4-year, $48 million?
Well, Watson
gives them $10 million a year.
Watson gives them some depth outside there with Tyreek Hill. They've got Kelsey, and they have talent all over the place on that offense.
They just drafted a second-round pick, Holland.
Oh, yeah, and he's phenomenal.
And he's another speed guy. I'm just surprised they would drop $10 million to Sammy Watkins, who's 20 catches, 245 yards. That's. I'm sorry, man. That's a bad deal.
Yeah, but
he's 27 years old. He's 92 speed, 92 excel lip, 94 agility, 6'1". He gives another team what you're saying, but not really to them because they have a plethora of talent at wide receiver. Let me read you his last 4 weeks this season, NBL season 35. Week 6, 1 catch, 9 yards. Week 7, 3 catches, 21 yards. Week 8, 3 catches, 29 yards. Week 9, 2 catches, 51 yards. Oh, man. And I see 1 drop. So you're seeing targets of 4, 5, 8, 10 targets in 4 games. That's a lot of money to pay somebody that you're not really utilizing in any kind of high effective way. The efficiency isn't there. The targets aren't there. It's a Julius Holland, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce led team, and even Kelce is getting the back end of that. It's really Tyreek Hill and Julius Holland heavy. I mean, we're talking 24 touchdowns between the three, 20 between the top 2 wide receivers, and Sammy Watkins has 0 touchdowns. This is a bad signing. This is a signing where you're just locking up $10 million to a guy that I don't think has earned it.
No. These Chiefs are all in on the roster that they have. They're going to need this guy. They're going to need Sammy Watkins in the playoffs at some point because
so they're paying for the potential to go on a.
Okay, yeah, this is not a production-based signing.
Okay.
This is, we're giving you this because we need you to do something big and special for us in the playoffs, and we're going to get into that tonight. The Chiefs are in that spot where they have to get something done on the field, and I think that this is part of it. This is them saying we're pushing everything to the middle. We're all in on all the guys that we have, and we needed to provide production on the field. That's kind of the opposite of how it works. You don't really pay somebody when they have such little production, but they got to be all in, and they got to have this guy show up in the playoffs.
A couple guys in the chat talking about the production values. Lyric for Christ saying, need more production. What looks good on paper doesn't always look good on the field. I agree. I just think he's not getting as much field time, but as Lip said, if he can come away with the big catch here or there, you never know. Let's update Bleacher Report AFC East as we move beyond the midway point of the season. Let's check in on some division races in the MBL. New England Patriots at 8-1, Dolphins 5-3, Jets 5-4, and the Bills winless so far. The New England Patriots lead the way with a polished defense and maintaining balance on D. Will they finish on top? The New England Patriots are currently 8-1, a couple games ahead right now. Jets are chasing, Dolphins chasing. I think the Patriots end up on top. I think the only threat really there is the Dolphins. But I don't know. I think this is the Patriots division.
Yeah, right now it's definitely the Patriots division. It's going to be for the rest of the cycle. Miami's the one that can challenge them, I believe, after a couple more seasons of building. They're playing good right now, but they just need a little bit more firepower to compete with the Patriots. But the Patriots are going to be ones competing to win the AFC without a doubt. It's going to be really interesting and entertaining to watch the Browns, Patriots, the Chiefs all go at it for the AFC. I'm very excited to have these Patriots playing well because that's a team that should be in that conversation every single season.
And here's a fun note: the Buffalo Bills, Gibbs saying winless. That's tough. They are ranked. They are the lowest overall team in the MBL, and by quite a bit. They're a 76 overall team. The second highest is a 5-way tie between 5 teams that are 79. So a 76 overall, I mean, having a high overall team really does allow you to compete. And right now you got a Buffalo Bills team at a 76. That's just not good talent. You've been drafting high, haven't been drafting well, and haven't been developing your players, and that's what happens. You take the flip side of that, you look at the Green Bay Packers. They're at an 86, 87 overall team right now, Lip, and they cut Aaron Rodgers. So imagine the development and talent that they got over on that side of the ball on that team. Bleacher Report, alert, NFC West. Seattle Seahawks 5-3, Arizona Cardinals 3-5, Niners 3-5, Rams 2-6. I think Seattle runs away with this one.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit ago. This was where about a week ago they were closer, and it was that crucial point where the Seahawks are starting to win 4 out of 5, and the Arizona Cardinals are just continuing to pile up the injuries. That's going to create a lot of separation, and I don't like to say it, but I think it'll make the division much easier for the Seahawks to obtain. I think they'll win that, but it sucks for the Cardinals because of all of those injuries, and they were so close to beginning the season with Seattle.
All right, moving on. We got some more defensive notes. Was the most recent tweet. I thought they had a tweet about the I thought they had a tweet about a blog that was just released. All right, either way, the Bucs have a ball-hawking defense, 24 interceptions, running back a league-high 5 interceptions for touchdowns. Man, that's running back a league-high 5 interceptions. They definitely have a ball-hawking defense. Red zone defense. The Browns have allowed points on only 57% of the red zone drives, but no one has been stingier than the Bears with a league-leading 3 touchdowns allowed this entire season inside the red zone. When they get in the red zone, they're just fast and they just play smarter, and it just seems like they're just tough to punch it in against.
Yeah, all that space you have in the red zone there, especially when you're inside the 5, it just gets so cramped. And then when you have such a good pass rush there for the Bears, it's impossible because you have such you have such a short window to read the defense with no space, and the pass rush is going to get there, especially if they have a great one, and the Bears do. So that doesn't surprise me. Ownership, that team doesn't surprise me.
All right, let's move on. DJ Moore, remember the name. Look at one of the emerging stars in the MBL and how he's taking his team by storm, and why the MBL better start paying attention to DJ Moore. Hey, I'm already paying attention to him. We're going to go ahead and click this link, and we're going to pull it up and see what we got here. Remember the name. Timbo did this graphic, did this thing. Oh, that's a little bit of blurry. That's not on him, though. He just did the Panthers thing. There's a new cycle preparing to begin in the NBL. Excitement is in the air. The energy is high, and there's a 21-year-old wide receiver from Philadelphia who's entering his rookie season with the Carolina Panthers. Okay, so this is done from the perspective of when we just started. Known for his blazing speed on tape and then doubled down in person at the yearly NBL Combine, Moore was met with light expectations from the national media and analysts alike. What's come since is the emergence of one of the bright young stars and top wide receivers in the entire NBL. In NBL Season 33, Moore had an outstanding rookie campaign, racking up 1,300 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns on 21 yards per catch. He followed that season up, which is going to be NBL Season 34, with an even better performance, collecting 1,300 plus yards, adding more versatility to his game, focusing on the red zone, being a reliable target on third downs, and being used all over the field. He finished the year, which is NBL Season 34 last season, with 14 more receptions and 11 more touchdowns. Panthers owner Porter couldn't be more excited about his bidding star. He stated this, and this is written down because Porter, I know this wasn't over the phone because he just is not this professional when he talks. We know we had something special the day we drafted him. We are so lucky that he fell to us in the first round. He's the spark that has taken this offense to the next level. Now, in his third season, NBL Season 35, our current season, Moore is on a team primed for a playoff berth. They're currently 6-2, leading their division, and on track to set career highs in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. But what's even been a bigger bonus for the Panthers is the leadership the young wideout has brought into the culture of the organization. Porter also stated when DJ is playing, he makes everyone around him better. The positive energy and attitude that he brings to the team is unmatched. Moore thought he would have to wait until the middle portion of the draft to hear his name called. Instead, he heard it before the first round was completed. Carolina knew they were getting in with DJ. He knew what he was bringing to the team. Now, the entire NBL better take notice. Mr. Moore has arrived, and he isn't looking back. Until next time. That was the most recent blog here on the NBL. I just wanted to shout that out, man. That was a cool blog. DJ Moore, thoughts? What are your thoughts on DJ Moore? Is he this big-time player? Is he the Julius Holland, or is he at another level from Tyreek Hill? I mean, where does he rank as far as wide receivers in the NBL right now?
It's tough. I mean, I would give him credit that he's probably top 15. And that's not, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just
top 15. What?
He had a good
28 viewers watching
season.
The Commissioner Corner podcast right now. His Lip's gonna go on this rant that's completely wrong. Go ahead, Lip. Top 15?
Top 15.
I move the decimal to the left. He's a top 1.5 with me.
Yeah.
He's the best 1.5 when he catches over this many yards on Sunday playing before 3.
Yes, there you go. Dude, come on. He's got the Raiders, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Vikings, the Packers. He's not playing anybody.
But he
the
did
Bears,
this last
the Panthers
year.
Don't score a touchdown.
He didn't play them last year. He's playing in a division with arguably one of the top 5 defenses in the NBL with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's got to play him twice a year.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying he's not playing
top
the
5.
competition. That's why he's not not that great to me.
27 viewers. We already lost 1. Let's see how low this goes here, guys. Oh, back to 28. All right. Maybe they thought you were done. They stepped out to come back in. Lip, he's top 5.
DJ Moore, 8 receptions, 161 yards, 3 touchdowns against the 3-5 San Francisco 49ers, who they beat 41-0. I'm not impressed.
Lip
top
isn't impressed
15
with DJ Moore. I got him in the top 5. So you don't think he's going to finish in the top? What do we do? Our cycle top 25? He's a top 25, yeah. So you don't think he ends up on the Madden 19 top 25 list?
I imagine that he's got a good. Well, look, okay,
well, I mean,
3
you did
seasons.
The list, so if
3 seasons, he's probably going to hit 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns this year. So. Yeah. The rookie year, we give a little bit of leeway at 7 touchdowns. So, yeah, that's 3 for 3 so far to me. So, yeah, there's a good chance he lands there. But you're asking 2 different questions. Is he a great players. You got good stats.
Well, how many wide receivers make
just...
the top 25 of our cycle list? 5, maybe? I mean, so that would put him top 5. You're contradicting yourself here, buddy. I'm about to actually have you list 10 better. Can you list 10 better?
No, absolutely not. I definitely can't. I just needed to start it off.
Hey, that top 15 was a hot take. That was a hot take. Hey, you know what you should have done, Lip? You should have kept it anonymous, and then you would have never had to defend it.
No.
Now that you're coming out here and saying it's you.
I'm putting the pressure on Porter. We're going to see him on the big stage tomorrow
night.
Now
that you're saying all that, he's going to fall off. You know, Porter doesn't do good with pressure.
Well, that's
Pontiac,
why
Porter and pressure.
Hey, I applied it one time this cycle, and I'll never forget it. Porter just, the wheels fell off. He became unbuttoned, and it was an MBL live game against the Cowboys. It's Cowboys-Panthers. The Panthers had stopped the Cowboys, who were they were rolling. Panthers had the chance to be somebody in the MBL, and they had an offsides penalty that just handed the game to Dallas. So I'll never forget it, man. That was when I believed in Porter. That was the height of the Porter hype to me. And so now I have to be brutal because I want Porter to succeed, and I want the pressure to be on.
Top 15. Guys, remember that. We're going to call it Vodcor's Top 15. We got a lot of names going on right now. All right, let's move on to the actual show here. Appreciate Bleacher Report for all the content and allowing us to dissect and analyze everything in a great little blog from Timbo. I like that, man. Blogs, hey, dude, that's how you get credit, man. Doing blogs about other people, other teams, and interacting in that way, that's what we really look for, man. That's the community feel we like. All right, moving forward. Kansas City Chiefs, air attack. They're back. They're making it happen. This team has been, what we like to say, phenomenal so far. They just signed Patrick Mahomes to a 5-year, $125 million deal. Could have said $125 billion. I don't think anybody would question it. He's just balling right now. This team's just moving the ball. Tyreek Skill, first wide receiver, I think over 1,000 yards he is. And he's about 150 higher than everybody else. I got to check to see if they've even had a bye week yet. They're at 7-2. Yeah, they have. This team is just putting up crazy numbers right now. Passing the ball down the field. Tyreek Hill, 1,060 yards and 11 touchdowns. He's got pretty much end-of-season stats, and we still got about 6 games to go.
Yeah, so Tyreek Hill is having a...
what was that laugh? Are you about to say he's top 15 maybe, too?
Well, I'd put him in my top 20 for sure. I can't name 19 better, but... No, I mean, Tyreek Hill's having a great year. I mean, there's definitely talk about him being MVP. And that's pretty big deal whenever you're talking about wide receiver being an MVP. But I respect the contract.
I got a highlight here. I'm going to actually say, so I'm watching this highlight here. I think Travis Kelce poked your guys in the eye. This is like a heel move, WWE circa. Watch this right here. Guys, I know you're watching on the screen. I know I cut Lip off. I'll let him talk in just a second. I think he just gives him those 2-finger poke to the eye. Watch this. Poked him in the eye. Oh, gets him off. They're dirty over there in Kansas City. But go ahead, Lip. How great is this team as Travis Kelce just almost takes it to the house? There's no way he's getting there, though, right? Shrugs him off. Oh, yeah. Tackled by A.J. Boye. Man, that was
I'm going to let you keep going.
Go ahead. Let's talk to you. That was just a crazy highlight. You see Travis Kelce.
No, it's a great highlight.
Ball on the flat
but that's the thing. That's what the Chiefs do good. They're not, even with all this star power, they're not trying to, ram the ball down the field. That was a 2-yard pass. And yards after catch is what gets them down inside the red zone. So that's one of the things that the Chiefs do good. But they've thrown a lot of money around. We talked about Sammy Watkins. Now we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes 100% definitely deserves it. He had a great season last year with 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, a QBR of 134. This year he's off to the same start, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a QBR of 132. But this team has to figure out how to get it done in the playoffs because there's such a talent on offense. 3rd in points, 1st in yards, 8th in rushing. The defense is pretty good, too. It's good enough to make them go deep into the playoffs, but I just need to see something in the playoffs come from this team because last year they were cut down in 1 game. They got into the playoffs, they played 1 game, they lost by 3 points, and that's just not what you want to see. 2 years ago, they got a 7-point win against the 8-7-1 Bengals, and then they went on to lose again 30-10 and they just can't get deep into the playoffs, and that's what I need to see from this team because they're so great all around.
I would say Kansas City has the best weapons in the passing attack in the MBL. I still don't have them over the Browns, and I don't think it's even that close. I want to say it's a very distant two, because I don't think – see, I'm seeing all these plays, and they're basically them throwing a 15-yard pass or closer and then taking it to the house. That seems to be the MO here for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then I watch the Browns play, and they do that, and they can get over top of you. So it's just two different play styles. Chiefs are having a lot of regular season success, and I'm going to say that. That's how I'm going to preface this team as a regular season success team. But I don't see them doing much in the playoffs yet unless they have a stifling defense that comes out and starts balling, or their offense gets more vertically down the field that really can spread everything out and make them virtually unstoppable. But until then, I don't see much. MBL Magazine 223 featured Patrick Mahomes. It seems like Chiefs have been all over everything MBL in the last week.
Yeah, they're a very hot team as far as, like you said, competing in the regular season. But right now, and just based off what we've done to this point, it seems like the Chiefs are, and I would even throw the Patriots into this, not because of their performance, but just because of where I think their team is. I think it's the Chiefs and the Patriots are at one point, and then much higher is the Browns. There's nobody even close to them, and that's where I'm trying to see how these Chiefs can close that gap. Now, they did just play the Browns. They lost to them 34-27. It was a very back and forth game at the very end. Inside 3 minutes, there were multiple scores back and forth. The Chiefs had a chance, but they only had like 14 seconds left.
Here's my question. Can the Chiefs play better than that? I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how they topped the Browns.
Yeah, and the Browns didn't play great that game by any means. And that's my whole thing. I'm looking at this and I'm going, is that what it takes? Is Kelsey finger poke of doom, a juke all the way down, shrug off another guy? It's consistently happened in the regular season, but when it doesn't happen in the big games, what do they do? And I just don't see much of anything else. And while this is really successful in the regular season and really impressive, until I see it happen in the playoffs, I can't really look at them as a real threat. I just look at them as a really great regular season team that's going to drive the ball down the field and put up a lot of yards. But they got to get over the hump and win that AFC Championship game. And really, they just need to win a playoff game at this point. All right, let's go ahead and move on, though. We're gonna talk about on the rise in the MBL. That's gonna be our next topic here. Let me go ahead and set everything up here. We'll talk about Zeke the Freak initially in this. On the rise in the MBL, Zeke mode, 86 attempts, 750 yards, 14 touchdowns, 8.7 yards per carry. You're saying on the rise? Zeke has already risen. No, I think he's going to be the Melvin Gordon stats wise of this cycle. Agree or disagree on that one?
Absolutely. Look, and the one stat you look at, touchdowns, 15, 16, already 14. Like you said, we got what? 6 games left, depending on where we're at. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot of games for more touchdowns, and that right there, those are huge numbers. And I really don't see anybody stopping him because he's just been absolutely dominating the last 3 seasons.
And here's how great the line is. You see it on a play like this. I'm going to actually bring this play back, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. This is what Zeke does so well. He can run up the middle, and he really isn't outside dependent, even though some of the big runs come here. This is probably just a zone. He gets that blocking on 52 right there. And here's the problem. You're going to look at this play, and you're going to see this guy's got to make a play. This is the guy that has to make the play. These guys aren't getting off, and Zeke isn't hitting this hole. He's going to make you work for it. What he's going to do is come outside, and he's going to come outside pretty heavy and allow you to have to really over-pursue, and the minute you over-pursue, he cuts it right back upfield. Now, if he hit this hole right here, you'd have a chance. You got to contain him, but that's going to be on this guy to get some kind of outside leverage and force him back inside, which they can't do because 52's a beast. Look at his leverage right here. Look at his center of attack right here. His technique is just phenomenal. So he's going to get outside, and he's going to force you to have to really pursue him east and west, and the minute that you do, he's going to spin right back upfield. I've seen him do this a million times. I'm going to hit play on it right now, and we're going to see how it plays out. Let's see it play out. There he goes. Now look what happens, and look, he's even got a blocker. This is how good the Dallas Cowboys blocking is. This guy right here didn't just take off running. He blocked this guy, got these guys out of the play. Yeah, this guy gets thrown around. Who cares? But this guy's coming downfield. So it's not like it's even one-on-one. If it was just one-on-one, I still trust Zeke with a spin back upfield, and then it's only this guy to make the tackle, hopefully. Even blocking downfield with Pettis right here, number 82. They brought him here from the San Francisco 49ers. He's one-on-one. I mean, the blocking for this team is just phenomenal. I don't see anybody else in the league getting that kind of work. And look, he spins there, and 70 says, okay, you don't need my block here. Let me continue to run with you. How is 70 still in the play? Even though he's not going to make a block here, he's just that good. Oh, he does make a block. He does make a block downfield. I was wrong. And then October just loses control over his guy right there. I don't know what he was looking for. But to the house right there goes Zeke Elliott. I mean, just the blocking for the Dallas Cowboys is unmatched. If that continues throughout the playoffs, I mean, that's just a layup at this point for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and how great has Pettis been for the Cowboys? Only around 500 yards right now, but we're only halfway through the season, so he's definitely got a chance to get to 1,000 yards, but already 9 touchdowns. He's given them that passing attack that they were missing over the past couple of years, and that's really allowed Zeke to take off, because now whenever they're inside the 5, it's not all just Zeke. There's a relief from Pettis to be able to get into the end zone. But the big thing is, man, the big question, just like the Chiefs, can these Cowboys, they can get to the Super Bowl, no problem. They're 8-0, they're on fire, they're running really well. Can they get to the Super Bowl and win it? What if it's the Browns again? Do you have any confidence in them beating the Browns? Is it different if the Patriots or the Chiefs would make the Super Bowl? I think with the running game, you can control the game. It's all in your hands, but it seems like whenever the Browns come to town, it's just so hard for the Cowboys to control the game with Zeke, but it just does not make sense because of what you just did with outlining those plays, how well the blocking set up, not only with just the linemen, but also now the wide receivers too.
Yeah, it's too much. The Dallas Cowboys just have a plethora of weapons now, and even though the wide receivers aren't bad, you'll see that Zeke Elliott is used as a wide receiver often, and that's what seems to be happening with this Dallas Cowboys team. Just when you think maybe they don't have the weapons, they go and they make a trade or they make a move. They bring in Pettis, they bring in Will Tye, and then they're able to continue this run. And with this offensive line, you just never know with Dallas. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about our guy, the Green Bay Packers. How great has Playa looked this season with these Green Bay Packers? I mean, they don't have a winning record, but they got the #1 overall draft pick in NBL Season 35. That's going to be Derek Patterson, number 89. 44 receptions, 774 yards, 4 touchdowns. This kid is exciting and electric. You know why they drafted him at #1? They had the defense just where they wanted it, and they said, we just need that go-getter, that guy that can make that one big play, open the game up, because we're really just a score away from being victors in nearly every game we're in because our defense is that good.
Yeah, that's exactly what is going on. Their defense is playing really well. And the thing with Derek Patterson is he's so fast, and he's only 21 years old, so they're going to have an opportunity to build off this. And that we talked about a little bit earlier. Do we think that they're going to give Stafford another chance next season? Both of us kind of think he's out. Playa has seen 1 year of Stafford. He's done. He's moving on. They might have a high enough draft pick to go out and get a quarterback. A lot of quarterbacks went last year, so there should be some there. And that's really going to set this team apart from other teams that are drafting in that higher range, because they're going to have a cycle quarterback, and now they've got their cycle #1. And this guy has 774 yards already. The touchdowns are low, but like we always say, the rookie season is kind of tough. You got to feel the guy out. You got to see where he fits in down in those red zone opportunities. He's only 5'10", so he's not a jump ball receiver, but he's got the speed to go over the top and get it done. So you can partially blame Stafford for this, but if you do that, and then next year the touchdowns don't increase, then you've got other questions. But as far as this guy being an absolute star in the league, there's no doubt about it. He's arrived and became a star very quickly.
Yeah, he just really has. He has a big playability. He's done everything that we expected him to do as the #1 pick. He's lived up to expectations. Now the thing is, can he get a little bit more consistency at the quarterback position? Because right now he's not getting it, and right now that's what's hurting this team. Stafford being so difficult. So poor passing the ball. Hopefully that improves, and we can see this team continue to take that next step. Let's go ahead and move on to the Crossfire segment here on the MBL Network right now. This is basically where you choose a topic. We'll actually have Timbo call in right now. I guess he has some things he wants to talk about with the Bleacher Report. We're going to continue to just play some Show some graphics. If you got any questions in the chat, go ahead and ask them. Don't forget, this Friday, that's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we got the Washington Redskins taking on the New Orleans Saints. The Carolina Panthers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give us a score predictions, what you think, Lip.
Score predictions for the Buccaneers and the Panthers.
Yeah, what do you got?
I'm still fired up, man. I really want these Panthers to succeed.
Well, the only way if you really want them to succeed, you wouldn't talk about them at all. You wouldn't have put them. We wouldn't discuss them, because then it would fly under the radar, which that's where Porter's most comfortable. Anytime he becomes a front runner, it all starts going just falling apart. Timbo, if you want to call in the show, it's 330-408-5253. Anybody can call in, give your opinions. And we'll discuss whatever you want to discuss. You can also put in the chat as well. But if you want to call in, it's 330-408-5253. But what's the score predictions on these games? What do you got?
I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna put some confidence back in Porter. DJ Moore is a top 15 receiver, but he's going to play like the #1 receiver in NBL, and the Panthers are just going to run through these Bucs, who I do not believe in this season. Yeah. It's going to be 31-10 for the Panthers.
We got Timbo on the line right now, Lip, so go ahead and wrap it up. Just go ahead and wrap up what you're going to say.
That was all I was going to say. I believe in the Panthers. I believe.
All right, so he believes in the
Panthers.
Don't let me down. That is something good. All right, we're in the Crossfire segment. We got Timbo on the line right now, I believe. Timbo, is that you?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
All right, what's up, man? You just did an article about DJ Moore. How impressed have you been with him in the first 2.5, 2.25 seasons in NBL season 35 currently, but of Madden 19? How impressed have you been with that wide receiver out in Carolina?
You know, he's definitely taken a step forward in his career. You know, just how he's taken, you know, the offense, and how, you know, they're entrusting him to kind of be that alpha dog on offense. I mean, you know, if anybody knows Porter has been singing DJ's praises since the cycle started. And, you know, any chance he gets, you know, he's looking to make a name with DJ, you know, whether it be deep, whether it be short with a lot of rack. I mean, he's putting him in positions to be the star, and he's definitely been doing everything but giving them, you know, been doing everything for them and paying big dividends for them.
All right, so DJ Moore's going to be on NBL Live tomorrow night. You got them. They're going to be playing in a pretty big game on NBL Live tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How do you see that game playing out?
I think it's definitely going to be first off, it's a big game. I think it's a very big game for both teams, you know, especially with Carolina kind of making that stand, you know, coming out, you know, being very competitive this season after kind of, you know, just grinding out the first 2 years trying to build. And now they're kind of taking things, you know, onto another level. And Tampa, Tampa started on 4, you know, we kind of wrote them off. You know, our own Max Kellerman was saying that, you know, it could be over for them. Yeah. But now 4 in a row, they won 4 in a row. They've looked impressive. You know, they started off with that win against Arizona on live, and ever since then, everything has kind of gone up. So I think it's going to be a big game in the sense of turnovers will matter. I think if Cam Newton can protect the ball, and also make sure he finds that big play target in DJ Moore, and also I think that tight end that they picked up. I believe it's Gonzalez. I think Gonzalez is going to be a big key in the red zone for them tomorrow night. So I'll probably take the Panthers, probably on the lines of 27-17.
Carolina Panthers so far this season at 6-2. Have we seen a division? Has Bleacher Report seen a division before that has been this deep? And I'm not saying deep as in we're talking Super Bowl contender deep, but within itself, I mean, the Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers, Falcons, each one of those teams are legitimate. And I'm not trying to stretch this just for a storyline here. Each one of these teams legitimately could win that division, and I don't think we've ever had that, as far as I can remember back. Before you say anything, Lip, can you remember that happening anywhere as far as being 4 deep like this?
I think that there was a division. It was just like you said. It wasn't Super Bowl contenders, and you might not agree, but I think that there was 2 cycles ago the AFC East. It wasn't great Super Bowl contenders. Somebody got in at 8-8 every year, but those 4 teams were competitive, very competitive within each other, and it made great entertainment because every time they played each other, they got better, they adjusted within their division. Like I said, it wasn't the Super Bowl contenders, but they were still adjusting to what the division was playing. We always said first thing you got to do is you got to be able to win your division, and that's what they did, and that's what you're seeing here with the NFC South, with these two teams trading places right now. Big game coming up, and you got to win. You got to win it.
All right, Timbo, last word to you. This division. Thoughts on this division being as deep as it is and kind of giving us a little twists and turns where you think the Panthers are down and out, and then they bounce back. They're 6-2. The Bucs start 0-4. They come back. The Saints were good at NBL season 33. They kind of struggled season 34 after they made a lot of real controversial moves in the offseason. The Atlanta Falcons were the powerhouse the first season. We're an 11-win team in NBL season 34. This season they're at 3-5. I just haven't seen that fluctuation of power looking like it's really evenly matched between all four teams.
Well, if you remember before the season, we had kind of saw that as the divisions were forming, that the NFC South was kind of the, all the users are kind of, more along the same lines in terms of competition, scheduling and all that. So to see how the division is starting to, kind of come together now in the third season has been great. I mean, you see the Falcons, Falcons started off hot first season. Now they're kind of taking a step back. The Saints, like you said, last season they made some, very questionable moves, but now they kind of turned things around and are looking to be more competitive in the NFC. Of course, the Panthers we spoke about, and now the Bucs are kind of turning their whole season around. So I think we're going to keep an eye on this. I also will be talking more about this division tomorrow during the day on BR. So it's a lot going on. With everything winding down, we'll probably want to see more matchups with some of these teams on the Super Show as we head down the stretch of the season. Don't forget about the Falcons. I still think that they have the talent to compete. This is all about they can manage the turnovers and just kind of stay ahead. They played a lot better when they were ahead in the first couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Let me cut you off there. I think there's only a couple teams in the league that can play as front runners, and even if you don't have the Atlanta Falcons as a premier team or a top 3 team, a top 5 team, they are one of those teams that really does well if they can get a lead early in the game at maintaining that lead. It's when they get behind you notice the problems start occurring. That is just as much as some teams can come from behind. I think playing from ahead is a very tough thing for a lot of teams to deal with because it changes your play calling. I think as a front-runner team in a game, I think you made a great point. If they don't dig themselves a hole early and they can stay with some type of lead, I think that usually results in an Atlanta Falcons win.
Yeah, I mean, it's very key. It's very key. A lot of teams can play with the lead. A lot of teams like to play close. Some teams' style of play invites close games. Some teams like to play more open, and when they get behind, they're not used to it. So seeing the Falcons kind of go through, muddying through the games a little bit, and they seem to be a little uncomfortable with that. So now it's more about doing the things that get them the lead. Forcing turnovers, getting off the field on third downs. Converting in the red zone, things like that, where they can get that lead, and then now that they won't have to worry about being down 14-0, 14-3, 10-0 in the first quarter and having to play from behind. So that's definitely key for them if they're going to make a run at this thing down the stretch.
Absolutely. Appreciate you calling in, Timbo. The lead of the Bleacher Report there on the MBL Network. You can check them out at MBL_Bleacher on Twitter. They got the morning drops. They have all these kind of things. Anything else to look forward to? Just final words here. We'll wrap up this segment.
Yeah, MBL, we are working on, last night we premiered our first pick'em with the BR Insiders. So look out for that as we move forward through the rest of the season, and in the pregame show for the Super Show, you will see the records for each insider for each game. We won't probably have any winners for this season since we started so late, but going into next season, you'll see more as the records add up, and we'll have some gifts for some of my insider guys.
All right, cool, man. Appreciate it. Look forward to that as well. Appreciate you calling in. Guys, if you want to call in, that was Timbo on the line, the Bleacher Report lead. If you want to call into the show right now, go ahead. We got any questions in the chat?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions. So first off, which team is most likely to get to the playoffs and bust, not reach their full potential in the playoffs?
Chiefs, Kansas City. That's where I'm at.
Chiefs.
Just because I got a history of that. That's what I say. I mean, because honestly, you have to have potential for me to say that you aren't gonna reach it. I mean, this is a Kansas City Chiefs team that's been dominating pretty well. 85 overall team, have all the weapons on offense. Everything about them to me just screams, hey, this user's good. This team's good. They got a high-octane offense. This just screams Super Bowl to me. But then on the back end, I don't even think the Browns are going to be the team that knocks them out. That's what I honestly feel, and that to me is why I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs, even though I think this team could win a Super Bowl this cycle.
Yeah, I definitely think that is that's accurate with how they play in the regular season. It doesn't seem to translate into the big playoff games for the Chiefs. team that is currently in the playoff picture right now that could completely collapse the second half of the season and fall out of the playoff race.
Oh,
I'm going to go. Man,
Where are you going?
What'd you say?
I said that's easy. I mean, the way that
it's
question
easy
is
for you?
set up, it seemed like,
It's easy for you?
Well, I would just go Carolina Panthers. I mean, seen Porter do it a million times.
See, I wasn't even gonna go there.
Okay, what are we going with?
This team is always in this position. I feel like not always. I feel like they're in this position quite a bit. But I want to believe that this is their year. Right now, the Bears are sitting at number 2 in the NFC.
Draco is the king of the collapse. For those that are new,
please
he's
don't.
done it so many times, and
he's got one of the rare things. He's got a great defense all the time, and he knows how to use it.
He's got a quarterback throwing 79% completion right now, which is crazy at this point. His quarterback is at 79% completion, but still only a 115 QBR.
Yeah.
He gets sacked a lot. Let me tell you the sacks for Marquise Neal, the quarterback of the Chicago Bears in the last 4 games. 3, 7, 4, and 6. That's alarming to me. But I don't think their schedule's too tough. I don't think they collapse. They will collapse in the playoffs. We don't call him Wild Card Draco for nothing. But I think he's kind of over the collapse of not making the playoffs. I think he stays on course and makes it. I think the New York Giants are the team you got to watch. The Washington Redskins, that's a collapse right there. Even though that's my BTF guy right now, I don't think he gets in the way the Giants are playing. I think they get in. And I don't see the Seahawks really collapsing, because even a collapse over there at 5 wins now, they probably just need 2 or 3 more wins and they're pretty much in. I don't see that division, anybody really stepping up to take that division crown away from them. So I got it with the Panthers, Redskins, and that's it. That's the only people I could really consider a collapse. I think the Denver Broncos need to get a shout out. I think they're playing some really good football right now. Offensively, they're struggling per usual, but I think they're doing a great job, especially when they got to play against the Chiefs and teams like that. It's tough for them when they can't put up points, but I think their defense has been pretty good. Any other questions here on Crossfire?
Yeah, so the Giants started out a little bit rough due to many reasons. They're currently 4-4 as it sits on Daddy Leagues. Is there a chance that they get into the playoffs? Right now, as it sits, you've got the Saints at 5-3 in the wild card, and you got your Detroit Lions at 6-3 in the wild card. Do the Giants go on a run like we saw, I believe, 2 seasons ago? Come back, dig themselves out of a hole, and get themselves in the playoff conversation? Yeah,
I absolutely think so. There's a lot of football to be left. You've seen a lot of those NFC South teams taking in those little championship, in those races right now. The Saints in the wild card, the Panthers leading the division. I don't think those teams hold up. I think the Giants come in and take one of their spots. But the Buccaneers are also coming back too. I think the NFC South is probably going to represent one team in the playoffs this year, and I think it'll be their division winner, because they got to play each other. It's going to muck up their records so much playing against each other, Lip. That's why I'm saying that, even though I think there's 3 good teams in there right now, and I think the Atlanta Falcons are a little underperforming. They're a good team, but into Week 8, I don't think they get in at 3-5, even though they're not mathematically eliminated just yet. The Buccaneers are rolling. I mean, I would say if the Bucs lose one more, it's going to be tough for them. But the Panthers-Saints are probably the front runners over there. I think one of them gets in, and then just the fact that they have to continuously play their division, which is so tough, I would say that's going to probably push them out. And yeah, the Giants get in.
Yeah, I think that they get. I was a little concerned about some of their moves in the offseason, especially the quarterback. But it seems like since they've corrected their course, I think they've won 3 or 4 straight. So I think they're a good enough team for sure to make a long run and get into the playoffs. Final question. I've heard a lot of hype about the Dolphins, and the question is are the Dolphins a real contender if they can get into the playoffs? I think it's easy that they get into the playoffs. I mean, this week they got the Seahawks. That's an even match game. They're both 5-3, but then they got the 49ers. They got a tough game against the Chiefs, but then they've got the Rams, Broncos, Raiders, Bills, and then they finish up with the Patriots. I heard so many good things about this team. They're playing very under the radar. They're probably the most under the radar team for me right now. And good defense with 13 points per game. Good offense, 29 points per game. This is a team nobody's really talking about. So, Bummer, do you think that this team can put it together and start to compete with divisions? I mean, Patriots 8-1 right now. They've turned it around very quickly. Do you think that the Dolphins can begin to compete with the Patriots at some point?
I thought it would be a little bit closer this year. I mean, it's 8-1 to 5-3. They're still in it. Allen Rhodes is quarterback, obviously, for the Miami Dolphins. I have a lot of faith in him, but I just don't see the talent at wide receiver. Kenny Stills, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, those guys just don't really scream talent to me enough to overcome what you're going to get with the New England Patriots defense, and their offense hasn't been too shabby as well. You know, you got Sony Michel at halfback, Corey Davis as your wide receiver, and don't forget about the star lefty quarterback Chuck Thomas. They've been able to get it done. They're averaging 23 points per game, the New England Patriots. They're only giving up 12. I mean, that's the thing that really is the kicker for me. If you're playing against a very strong defensive team inside of your division, do you have the offense to combat that? And I just don't see the talent on offense for the Miami Dolphins, even though they're averaging 29 points per game. I think that's more of an appearance because their schedule might be a little weaker, and it allows them to get higher scores. But when you play a tough team and a tough defense, I don't really see the talent that Miami really has at the wide receiver position. So no, I don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to do it this year.
Yeah, this year seems a little bit tough, but they've done some good things in the short time that they've been there, and I think that at some point they're going to be able to they'll be competing with the Patriots. But I think we both think that division belongs to the Patriots for quite a while until the Dolphins prove that they can go toe to toe with the Patriots.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Episode number 49. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Checking out the Commissioner Corner podcast. This was the Crossfire segment. And next episode is going to be episode 50. We'll have something special for you. If you guys want to add anything or got any ideas to the show, go ahead and DM Lip on our GroupMe app. And we'll go ahead and discuss what we potentially could do moving forward with the show and with the program. 49 episodes, Lip. That's quite a long time. The longest running podcast in MBL history, continuing to run even today. So we're approaching some like crazy. I mean, every other week, and we took a week off for Thanksgiving. I mean, we've been running 100 plus weeks already. That's just pretty phenomenal.
That's a long time.
As we approach 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
That is a lot of topics, a lot of think about it, maybe we'll save it for next week. We'll go back and look at some stuff that we've done, because we've done quite a bit. We've brought people on, we've had game shows, we've had highlights and topics. We have a whole bunch of stuff. We'll try to make episode number 50 special because it's like you said, it's been about 100 weeks, more than that. It's been a long time, and it's a fun thing to keep going.
MBL Live Super Show tomorrow night. It's going to be MBL Live broadcast number 256, season 35, week 10. We got the Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Washington Redskins, New Orleans Saints, and it's all going to be on our Twitch channel. And we're going to leave it at that, guys. Appreciate everybody stopping by and checking us out. And we'll see you next time here on the MBL Network. And for myself and Lip, we're out.